Lindsay taking over for another lesson. Marty, thank you for having me as always. Today, I would like to talk about the best way to memorize scales and modes and chords. Sometimes I think that when we're practicing, we put all this information in our brains and it's like hard to retain it all. It's hard to remember certain things of how to apply it to even songs. So I'm gonna give you a few of my tips and tricks to memorizing those things. So first off, I would like to go over some of my favorite practice routines in order to really memorize what you're trying to learn and then get up the next day and remember what you learned yesterday. I think that oftentimes when we're learning things, repetition is key. I find I try to learn too much at once. I look at all of the modes and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn all of them today. I'm just gonna learn all of them. I really find it's better to focus on one thing. Learn one scale, learn a couple chords and just practice those chords. Whether you're learning, okay, this is C, this is G, whether you're learning your minor pentatonic patterns, focus on one pattern for that day. Focus on one pattern for a week. Find the speed at what you're learning, whatever fits into your life, whatever fits into how much time you have to practice every day. And don't feel bad about that. Just really embrace it and focus and hone in on that one thing. And then once you really feel like you have a good grip of that one thing, then you can move on to the next thing. But sometimes just when I try to learn too many things at once, nothing sticks. I'm just like, wait, what was the scale 3 scales ago? I don't remember. I have kind of a rule of one thing a day. So if I'm learning my minor pentatonic scale, so that's my pattern 1 of my minor pentatonic scale, I would really focus on learning that pattern. I would slow it down. I would practice it with a metronome. I would put it in different places on the neck. Oftentimes when I'm learning new scales, it really helps to learn it from whatever, maybe you're Googling it and learn it from whatever, tab or chart or scale graph that you're looking at. And then I try to play it without. Because sometimes if I get so dependent on always reading something or always reading tab, then my brain is just getting used to reading the tab. It's not actually learning it. So I try to learn it, and then I try to play it without looking at anything. So I'm like, okay, do I really remember how this goes? Okay, yeah, I do. And then sometimes I'll throw in a song and I'll do something else for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back to that same scale and be like, okay, do I still remember this? And I keep checking back, and seeing if that information is being retained. I think that it is so beneficial to have little tricks and scales that you can incorporate in your playing, which is why, sometimes when I've studied modes in the past, I'm just like, well, when am I actually gonna use these things? But I think when you're learning different scales, you find portions of it that you feel like will be beneficial to you. For instance, today I'd like to talk about the Dorian mode. I don't use modes a lot when I'm playing, but when I started studying them, I was like, I can use aspects of each mode. The Dorian mode is really useful for me when you hear a minor chord in a song, but you're not really sure how it relates. It's a very good mode for playing over a minor chord that is not necessarily related to a particular key. It has a lot of notes that you can incorporate based off of a minor pentatonic scale, for example, that really helps in soloing. I find that, learning new scales and figuring out how they overlap on top of existing scales is very beneficial, because my happy place is okay, my pentatonic scale. Whatever key I'm in, whatever song I'm in, I can easily find that home base and hang out in it and feel comfortable. But if I learn a couple modes, or if I learn how to put minor and major pentatonic over top of each other, all of these different concepts, and I just learn how it relates to the one thing I already know, then it will be much more easier to pull from it when I'm in the middle of a solo or I'm trying to improvise. So I'd say learn scales and even new chords off of what you already know. Let's say, you're learning your minor pentatonic, learning it based off of a root note will help you always find that minor pentatonic. So this is an A minor chord. This is another A minor chord. This is how I always play A minor. If I always know that that minor pentatonic is going to start from that chord, then I'll be able to find it. Building on that, if this is where my minor pentatonic chord is, and this is where my minor pentatonic pattern scale is, call that pattern 1 with the root note on your low E. Then if I also, let's say, took the Dorian mode and learned it over top of that first pattern of my minor pentatonic, I don't, in the middle of a song, need to be like, okay, if I were to apply Dorian mode in the middle of this solo, how would that work? All I need to know is how to get to my minor pentatonic, and then I learn the Dorian mode inside my minor pentatonic. So let's break this down. This is our minor pentatonic scale. That's your minor pentatonic scale. And a lot of you may know that if we were to learn Dorian, the Dorian mode from your root note on the low E, it would sound like this. Now this Dorian mode fits right in your minor pentatonic scale. So this is the Dorian mode scale. So it's the same as your minor pentatonic, but it adds a few notes. It adds the 2, it adds the 6, it adds another 2, it adds another 6, and adds another 2 in your pattern. So this is your minor pentatonic, and this is your Dorian. So now that I've learned the Dorian mode on top of my minor pentatonic that I already knew, all I need to study is the differences of where those extra notes fall in. So when I'm playing a song, I can be like, you know what? I could add this 6th note in the middle of my... And it just is a way that you can learn completely new scales. If I were to try to memorize the Dorian scale by itself, I would have to like memorize it and learn how to integrate it. But if I learned it within the scale that I already know, it's so easy. I'm just like, I can be in the middle of a solo and I know that this note, this note, this note, and this note are all the Dorian mode that I can implement already into the minor pentatonic scale. I hope that wasn't a whole lot of music theory just thrown at you, but all I really want to teach in this lesson is take things slowly. Learn things one by one by one. Don't try to learn the whole world in a day. Learn one scale today. Learn one chord today. And then maybe tomorrow, still keep learning that scale. Keep learning it until you fully understand it, and then you can start to build off of the things that you know, based on the root notes, based on the chords. And when you build off of the things that you know, you'll be able to tap into a whole different world of possibilities and keep adding layers to it. I'm Lindsay L. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. Make sure to subscribe to Marty Music and like this video, and make sure to check out my own channel too. All the links are below. We'll see you next time.